In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the transmission cooler lines on this Chevy Silverado. Let's get into it. We'll disconnect the battery, use an 8mm wrench, loosen up the terminal. And slide that off and out of the way. We're going to loosen up this worm clamp, use an 8mm socket. Loosen that up. And then over here, same 8mm socket. And just grab the snorkel, slide it back. You can lift it up and then slide it off. And if there's a retainer right here, you want to pop that off with just a trim tool. And we'll just slide this out. Disconnect the connector, just push down on the tab, slide that off, out of the way. Grab the air box, just pull it up and slide it out. Disconnect the top transmission cooler line. I'm just gonna use a straight blade screwdriver, just pry this retainer back. And then you can see there's a clip in there. I'm gonna take this clip off. I'm just using a pick. Just get underneath it. They do make a special tool for this. If you have one of those, you can use that. There we go. Get under that clip. And just slide it off. That's what the clip looks like. Save that. Grab that line. You can wiggle it back and forth a little bit and just pull it towards the back of the vehicle. Slide that out. You might want a drain bucket underneath. You're going to lose some fluid. And then we'll do the same with the lower line. Using a pick. Let's get this clip out. There we go. Got underneath it. For this line, the clip is out. It should be able to just pull off, but this one's severely rusted. I'm gonna have to cut this line and replace this fitting, but you should be able to just pull yours straight out. I'll just go ahead and cut this. I'm just using a pipe cutter. All right, that's loose. Just wiggle that off. Just break that off, set that aside. To get the fitting off, I'm just going to use a 18mm wrench. And loosen up the fitting. Take that fitting off. If you have a new fitting, you can just put it on just like we pulled it off. We're going to remove these shields underneath using a 15mm socket. Take these bolts out. Two up top. And slide that cover down. And slide that cover down. On the side of the transmission, there's a shield. You want to take that off. Use a 10mm socket. Take these two bolts off on the side. Take that off. Slide that shield off. And there's a clip right here. I'm going to pop that off. Underneath, there's a bracket. I'm just using some pliers, just pry this open a little bit. And pop that line out. That's loose. There is another clip further down. Just pop that off. There we go. All right, that's loose. Now using a straight blade screwdriver, let's pop this cover off where the line is. I'm going to take the lower line off first. And get in there with a pick. Take the clip off. You can see there's the clip. Just using a magnet. There we go, got that one off. And you're gonna lose a little fluid, so if you want a drain bucket underneath, we're gonna take this out of the bracket right here, give us a little more wiggle room, just using some pliers. Pop that off. We can move that a little more. I'll take the cover off the top one. Just use a pry bar, slide that back. Let's take that off. Just using a pick. I'll just get it with a magnet. There we go. Take that off. Now using a pry bar, just wiggle and pop the line out of the transmission. All right, and pull that line out. I just used some hose pliers, just forced it out. I'll grab the bottom line. Just pull this part out. You can pull it forward. Whoops, drip some fluid. Now towards the transmission, we're going to pull the lines down. Might have to bend the lines slightly. Just get this past. Get that past that stud right there. We'll slide this down and just twist it. It's kind of like a puzzle. And it slides right out. Now grab the other line, slide it down. Do the same thing, just have to twist it around. Twist that down. Just bend it a little. And it slides right out. Take the new line and just slide it in, same way it came out. Sometimes the new line goes in easier than the old one. Just gotta twist it in the right direction. Just bend this out a little bit. You don't want to kink the line, but you can just bend it slightly. And slide that up. Close. It's gonna go over there. slide the lower line in. Just get this. Just by here. And just twist it. Under there. That's good. Now with both of those there in somewhat the right location, we can get the top line secure. Now we want to put those clips back in on the fittings. So just kind of get that over where the fitting is. And you just kind of rock it over. Just so it rocks in place. Do the same on the other one. Slide that into the fitting. Lock it down and put that cover. And that's just going to hold the fitting in place. The spring clip. That's good. And take the other hose, the other line. Get that lined up in place. And push that in to the fitting. There we go. Push that all the way down. Push the cover on. Halfway up, you want to snap these lines into the bracket. Start with the top one. Just line it up there. Lock it in, just like that, and do the same on the bottom one. Just snap it in like that. And this one's going to go over here. And just keep those out of the way. Slide this shield in place. Take the 2 bolts. Get those started. Oops. Snug those down. And with any extra fluid, you can just take some brake parts cleaner and clean that off. Take this guard under engine cover, and put that back in place. Tighten it down. On the front shield, get that on. Bolts in. goes down. Take the fitting, line the fitting up in the radiator, get that started. Obviously, if your fitting didn't break, you don't have to do this step. We'll snug this down. It's good. I'm going to take the clip, the retainer clip, slide that on the fitting. Make sure that wraps around. Should lock in place, which it does. And you can do the same with the bottom one if you didn't replace that one. Okay, now we're going to go down below first. Line the hose up, lock it down, push down the cover, and the top one, lock it in place, just push it in, and push the cover on. Alright, that's good. Push that on. Looks good. Slide the air box in place. Line it up. Push it down to the grommets. Hit the connector, line that up. Lock that down. Take the snorkel, line this up. Push it onto the throttle body and then over the mass airflow sensor. That's good. And snug these down. That's good. If you had a retainer right here, you want to connect that. Connect the negative terminal to the battery. I'll snug this down. Make sure that's tight. The reason why we disconnected the battery was so that you don't arc out on the starter, because the starter solenoid is underneath there and you can hit it by accident with the transmission cooler lines. That's tight. Afterwards, you want to run the engine and check the transmission fluid while the engine is running and it has warmed up. You probably lost less than half a quart, but it's always a good idea to check and adjust accordingly.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.